Furious 7, 2015 film, the next one in the series. The story picks up very soon after the previous one. So Jason Statham plays the brother of the villain of the previous film. And he sets out to get revenge on Vin Diesel and Paul Walker and all the rest of the gang for what they did to his brother, which is basically exploded him in a ball of fire. Now, that in itself, I think, would be a perfectly fine, simple setup for a film of this caliber, but for some reason, the plot is further complicated by the existence of a secondary villain, which is a group of terrorists who are trying to get their hands of this sort of worldwide surveillance tool, which allows them to identify and find any person on the planet wherever, and also they want to get the hacker that coded it, and it's just blah 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 blah. Nobody cares about this. Also, there's Kurt Russell in the film. He fills in this role that was played by The Rock in the previous film, which is this government handler of the group. So again, I didn't really like the overcomplication of the plot. I think it would have been better if it was just Jason Statham chasing the team. As it is, unfortunately, after the first 15 minutes, I didn't think he had too much to do on screen, and it was sort of wasted in the role. Fundamentally speaking, though, this film is exactly comes from the same place as the sixth part. So what the creators did was they sat down and they asked themselves the question, okay, what can we do to make this one even more insane than the previous one? And then they went and did all those things. So spoilers, some of the things that happen in this movie include people jumping between moving cars at high speeds, The Rock destroying a cast on his broken arm by simply flexing muscles on that broken arm, don't ask. Michelle Rodriguez fights off and beats up a group of female Arabic bodyguards of an Arabian prince in Abu Dhabi. Don't ask, it doesn't make sense. The Rock holds a drone mounted Gatling gun and shoots it successfully using just his muscular hands. Vin Diesel tries to ram a helicopter by jumping his car into it. Vin Diesel successfully jumps a car between three skyscrapers in Abu Dhabi, and the entire crew jumps out of a plane in cars mounted to parachutes, and they survive, of course. So you can see that none of it makes any sense whatsoever anymore. It's just disconnected from reality, pure distilled insanity. And at this point, I was honestly thinking about how this film starts to resemble Mission Impossible series, but on drugs and heavily drunk. It almost has nothing to do with cars anymore. But I think that weirdly enough, they found their niche and they make it work. The creators are clearly aware how mad all of this is, and they just embrace it. They make fun of it as well. The action, while nonsensical, is quite simply impressive and fun, and the banter between the characters is funny. And the Corona product placement and Vin Diesel repeatedly talking about family is just, it's just absurd humor at its best. The film also sadly marks the death of Paul Walker, who died in a car crash during the movie's production. It was an accident that was unrelated to the movie itself, but they had to finish the film nonetheless, using his brothers as sort of body doubles and then superimposing his face and his voice on their bodies. And there's this emotional send-off montage for him towards the end of the film. And I have to admit, I did feel a pang of nostalgia while seeing all of those scenes from previous films and listening to the eulogy given by Vin Diesel. Overall, I just liked it. It is outrageously stupid, but it's also just solid blockbuster entertainment.